Hey everybody, welcome. So, get this. I was talking to a friend the other day, and we started reminiscing about school. You know, the good old days, the smell of chalk dust, the sound of the bell. But then, we got onto the subject of all the facts we learned. You know, the stuff our teachers told us with such confidence. The things that were definitely going to be on the test. And I started thinking, was all of it true? Did Napoleon really have a complex about his height? Did Vikings really wear horned helmets? It turns out a lot of what we were taught was, well, a little bit off, or in some cases completely, totally, outrageously wrong. It's crazy, right? We spent all those years memorizing things for exams that were basically old wives' tales dressed up in a textbook. My name is Albert, and welcome to Unknown Facts. We're about to debunk some serious schoolyard legends, and trust me, you're going to be shocked by what you find out. If you're ready to have your mind blown and unlearn everything you thought you knew, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. Let's get into it. Alright, first up, let's talk about the big one, the OG of school facts. I'm talking about the Great Wall of China. We've all heard it, we've all probably repeated it at a dinner party to sound smart. Did you know you'd say, leaning in conspiratorially, that the Great Wall of China is the only man-made object you can see from space? It conjures up this amazing image of astronauts floating in their tin can, looking down at Earth, and seeing this one single magnificent line snaking across the planet. Except, it's not true. Not even a little bit. I know, it's a bummer. The reality is, from low Earth orbit, where the space station hangs out, you can barely see the Great Wall. And only if the conditions are absolutely perfect. You'd need incredible eyesight, the weather would have to be crystal clear, and the sun would need to be hitting it at just the right angle. Even then, it would just look like a tiny, faint little thread. So what can you see from space? Well, a lot actually. You can easily see large-scale things like city lights at night, the web of lights from a major metropolis like Tokyo or New York. The Kennecott Copper Mine in Utah, for example, is a massive man-made pit that is very visible. It's a giant hole we dug in the ground. Okay, let's move from outer space right into inner space. Your brain! This next one is a huge staple of motivational posters, sci-fi movies. You know the one I'm talking about. Humans only use 10% of their brains. It's always followed by some tantalizing idea, right? Like imagine what we could do if we unlocked the other 90%. We'd have telekinesis, we'd be able to learn any language instantly. It's a fantastic, inspiring thought. The only problem? It's complete and utter nonsense, a total fabrication, a neurological lie. This myth is so persistent, but neurologists and brain scientists just laugh when they hear it. The truth is, you use virtually all of your brain, all the time. Yes, even when you're sleeping or binge-watching a show, or trying to remember where you put your keys. Your brain is always on, always working. Let's look at the evidence. Brain scans like fMRIs and PET scans show activity all over the brain, even for the simplest tasks. When you're just sitting there listening to me talk, your auditory cortex is firing, your frontal lobes are processing the information, your memory centers are trying to connect it to things you already know. It's a full brain party up there. All right, let's get into a lie that probably caused you some serious childhood anxiety. Picture this. You're a kid, you're chewing a big old piece of double bubble. You trip, or someone makes you laugh and gulp. You swallow the gum. The panic sets in immediately. You can hear your mom's voice, your teacher's voice, the voice of every adult ever echoing in your head. Don't swallow that gum. It'll stay in your stomach for 7 years. 7 years! As a kid, that's basically an eternity. You imagine this little pink blob just sitting there in your tummy? Through birthdays, through holidays, through all of middle school. You picture it getting lonely, maybe making friends with a stray pea or a corn kernel you didn't chew properly. But here's the good news for your inner child. It is completely 100% false. Your stomach is not a long-term storage facility for chewing gum. So what really happens when that wad of Bazooka Joe takes a trip down the wrong pipe? Well, your digestive system is a pretty amazing and powerful machine. It goes to work on that gum just like it goes to work on everything else you eat. Your stomach acids and enzymes break down the sweeteners, the flavorings. The whole process from swallowing to, final departure usually takes just a few days at most, the same as any other food. Here's a saying we use all the time, not just as a weather fact, but as a metaphor for, well, pretty much anything. Lightning never strikes the same place twice. We use it to mean that a rare, usually bad event is unlikely to happen again to the same person or in the same place, like, oh, my car got hit by a meteorite? Well, at least lightning never strikes twice. But what if I told you that this particular piece of wisdom is, electrically speaking, a complete fraud? Not only can lightning strike the same place twice, it happens all the time. In fact, some places get hit over and over and over again. The universe, it seems, doesn't really care about our comforting little sayings. It just cares about physics and finding the path of least resistance for a massive electrical discharge. Think about what lightning is looking for. It's a giant spark trying to get from a cloud to the ground as quickly and easily as possible. Let's talk about the most famous example, the Empire State Building in New York City. This poor building doesn't just get struck twice, it gets struck on average about 25 times per year. There are some reports that say it can be up to 100 times a year. It's basically a giant lightning rod for Midtown Manhattan. Oh, the poor, underestimated goldfish. For decades, it has been the poster child for having a bad memory. The common belief, the one we all learned, is that a goldfish has a memory span of just 3 seconds. 3. That's barely enough time to realize you're in a fishbowl before you forget and get surprised all over again. Ooh, a castle. Wait. Ooh, a castle. We've used it as an insult. Don't be a goldfish. Well, I am here today to be an advocate for goldfish everywhere. I am here to tell you that the 3-second memory myth is pure fish food fiction. Goldfish are actually way smarter than we give them credit for. Scientific studies have proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that goldfish have memories that last not for seconds but for weeks, months, and possibly even longer. They are the elephants of the fishbowl. So how do we know this? Scientists love to test these things. In one classic experiment, researchers would play a specific sound every time they fed the fish. After just a short time, the goldfish learned to associate the sound with food. Whenever they heard the sound, they would swim to the surface, ready for their meal. The amazing part is that even after not hearing the sound for weeks, when the researchers played it again, the fish still remembered and came looking for food. That's not a 3-second memory, that's associative learning. This next lie is a classic what-if scenario that has fueled countless schoolyard debates and probably made a few people nervous walking through big cities. You're standing at the bottom of a skyscraper, like the Empire State Building again. Poor thing can't catch a break, and you look up, way up, and you think, what if someone dropped a penny from the top? The legend says that this tiny, insignificant coin, after falling over 1,000 feet, would accelerate to such a mind-boggling speed that it would become a deadly projectile. But I'm here to tell you that if you get bonked on the head by a penny dropped from a skyscraper, the worst thing that will happen is you'll say, ow, and be very confused. It absolutely cannot kill you. This is one myth that gets busted by a little thing called physics. The key factor that the myth completely ignores is air resistance, also known as drag. As an object falls, it's not just gravity acting on it, the air is pushing back up against it. When these forces balance out, the object stops accelerating and continues to fall at a constant speed. This speed is called terminal velocity. Now, a penny is a terrible projectile. It's light, it's flat, and it's not aerodynamic at all. Because of this, a penny reaches its terminal velocity after falling only about 50 feet. And that terminal velocity is only about 25 miles per hour. That's it, 25 miles per hour. Getting hit by an object going 25 miles per hour might sting a bit for sure. It would be unpleasant, but it is nowhere near fast enough to be lethal. Alright, let's wrap this up with a lie from the animal kingdom. When you think of a chameleon, what's the first thing that comes to mind? It's their incredible, almost magical ability to change color, right? We've all seen it in cartoons and nature documentaries. The chameleon walks onto a green leaf, and poof, it turns green. It scurries across a brown branch, and shazam, it turns brown. It accidentally sits on a plaid blanket and has a complete identity crisis. We were taught that this amazing skill is all about camouflage, about blending in perfectly with their surroundings to hide from predators and prey. The only issue is that this primary reason we all know, is mostly wrong. While their color-changing ability can help them blend in sometimes, that is not its main purpose. Chameleons don't look at a background and consciously decide to match it. The primary reasons are to communicate with other chameleons and to regulate their body temperature. It's less about hiding and more about shouting their feelings from the rooftops, or, the branches. Think of it as a reptile mood ring. A dark-colored chameleon might be trying to absorb more heat from the sun to warm up. A light-colored chameleon might be trying to reflect heat to cool down. It's a living, breathing thermostat. Even more importantly, it's their social media. Male chameleons use bright, vibrant colors to show off for females or to intimidate rivals. And there you have it. 7 lies your teacher told you. Mind-blowing, right? From the Great Wall not being so great from space, to our goldfish being secret geniuses, to chameleons basically having mood rings for skin. It's crazy how many of these facts are just completely baked into our culture, and we never even think to question them. It just goes to show you should always stay curious. So now I want to hear from you. Which of these lies were you taught in school? Which one surprised you the most to find out it was false? For me, it was probably the chameleon one. I totally thought they were just masters of camouflage. Drop a comment down below and let me know. And of course, if you enjoyed this journey into the land of busted myths, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Unknown Facts for more videos that will make you question everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.